All right, and the last thing we're going to talk about here is church and state in Latin America. Okay, we know that the Spanish really came here in large numbers first. Hundreds, thousands of Spanish explorers coming into the Americas, looking to conquer land, given land by the Spanish, and looking to spread religion. That one of the biggest groups who came here were Jesuit missionaries. They were missionaries from Spain who were sent here to push the Catholic faith. And one reason is that for hundreds of years, Spain was controlled by Muslim invaders to the north. And it was thought by Europeans, but especially the Spanish and Southern Italians, that the Catholics or the Christians were being outnumbered and that Muslims were going to eventually come and take over. There was this fear. So the thought was if we spread Christianity, that we can actually outnumber these Muslims who have just invaded us and taken over our land for hundreds of years. Although they weren't horrible rulers, they still wanted independence. And we can spread our religion, which will help us, again, outnumber these people. So these missionaries are sent all across Latin America. There are hundreds of Latin American, hundreds of Catholic churches. Remember now the Spanish are Catholic, they're not Protestant. Hundreds of Catholic churches all across Latin areas that Spain controlled, including our own California. And yes, interestingly, our California that we live in wasn't known in Spain as California, but as Alta California, which means Upper California, because we should know that Baja California exists. Okay, this is where we have, Rosarito and Cabo and Ensenada and TJ, and really a bunch of beautiful vacation places. Baja is gorgeous. So now though we're talking about Alta California, and look, you see, a dozen or so churches were set up all along the coast, along what was called El Camino Real, which actually is the 101. Interesting. And there's the San Fernando Mission. Yeah, they set up the mission system. Many of us have visited these missions. Look, this is the San Fernando Mission right here. It's a picture of it, which newly renovated, I believe, by Bob Hope's wife. I went there not very long ago, and there's the back area is like dedicated to Bob Hope and his wife. He was a big fan. Bob Hope, of course, lived in the San Fernando Valley and Studio City. He was very much wanting to preserve California culture. He was a lover of California. But yeah, the missions were set up everywhere. The Catholic faith was pushed by the Spanish on the Native Americans. Now, of course, the Spaniards held all major positions, leadership positions within the church, but missions, it allowed the Spanish to control the lives of the Native Americans, but it also allowed the Native Americans a way to blend with the Spanish and not fight them, right? So if you're a Native American and you're like, well, do I want to fight these Spanish or do I want to blend with them? What you could do is go to the church, and the missionaries, the priests, the Spanish priests would take you in, would allow you to live there and to farm their land and would feed you and would teach you their religion. Women also, if you want to avoid being taken by a Spaniard as a bride without choice, right? If you want to be protected potentially from Spanish explorers who might come through and pillage and rape and pillage your town, one thing you could do was join in with the church. And the church leaders would protect the Native American women, often even allowing them to become nuns. Okay, so the church offers an escape from fighting the Spanish. It offers them a way to blend in with the Spaniards, as long as you take my faith. The Catholic Church also builds hospitals, schools in the colonies, along with, of course, churches. And I don't know about you. I mean, I can tell you guys, I was born at the Tarzana Medical Center, okay? My daughter was born at Kaiser, but my sister was born at St. Joe's in Burbank. That's a Catholic hospital. My mother-in-law.
I did my butt. It's like Hi, I am Bella.
My mother-in-law was at a hospital called St. John's in Santa Monica. You'll find some of these hospitals with these Catholic names, and you say, why? Why is a hospital called St. John's? Oh, because it was set up by a Catholic organization, not necessarily the Spanish Catholic Church during this period, but just that churches sometimes are run by religious organizations. And just as a fun fact, we all live here in California, where so many of our names of our things are in Spanish words. California itself is a Spanish legend of a place, an area where there would be all Amazon women that ran the show in California. Interesting Spanish myth, the connection with our modern country. But look, Los Angeles is the angels, right? And actually, the true name of Los Angeles is La Ciudad de la Reina de Los Angeles, the city of the Queen of Angels. Okay, San Diego, San is the male version of the word saint. I mean, San Diego, Santa Ana, that's Saint Anna, okay? Santa Barbara, Saint Barbara, San Francisco, Saint Francisco. We can see not only the Spanish connection, but also the religious connection in the names of many of our cities. So the church did play a big role in the Latin American colonies, and you can still see it to this day in the land where we live, all around Latin America, which, by the way, Latin America is the largest Catholic area of the world, larger than Europe. More Catholics live in Latin America because of the Spanish and Portuguese spread of that faith.